Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. We are buzzing as always, guys. Episode number 501, Crypto News Pods. Super pumped to get into this. We had a couple of Bittensor folks on the pod. Bittensor's blowing up. The subnets are super interesting, and today we're jumping right into it. It's Ken Miyachi on the show today, the one and only, the co-founder of BitMind, a company at the forefront of developing pioneering deepfake detection tech and decentralized AI applications. Prior to founding BitMind, he served as a senior software engineer at leading organizations such as Near Foundation, Amazon, Polymer Labs, where he honed his expertise in scalable technology solutions. I can't wait to get into this. Ken, welcome to the show, my friend. Pumped to have you on this one.
Likewise. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Dude, I don't know about you, last couple of weeks, especially with Nano Banana, Sora, all of them. I mean, I feel like it's gotten even crazier over the last sort of 2-3 months, but the AI deepfakes, and we'll get into actually what you guys are doing. I mean, heck, let's just start with the deepfakes right out the bat. You can give an intro of BitMind and get right into the deepfakes, but up until 3 months ago, dude, I was batting 99%, where I could tell almost right away. Like, and I had friends who would send me some joke stuff, and I'd be like, dude, I know this is a deepfake, or they'd, send me their own and put their own little AI, blah, blah. Anyways, the last couple weeks, I think the tables have turned. There is now some stuff coming out where I'm like, I genuinely don't know. It's 4150. It's 4951. My parents, are super smart people, but they're not in the AI weeds like we are. A lot of my older friends who aren't in the AI weeds, you get to get a selfie, put Trump in that selfie, and it literally looks like your perfect little selfie. You would not know. It is that good. Walk me through what you guys are doing at BitMind and how you're tackling deepfakes and how much of a shit show deepfakes are going to be moving forward in our foreseeable future.
Yeah, Nano Banana is pretty crazy, and even some of these other tools as well. Like, I think a lot of the AI creators basically, use a variety of these tools in their pipeline and can create really, really realistic content. So yeah, what BitMind does is it focuses on essentially AI generated content detection with the goal of stopping scams, fraud, and abuse in this space. And how we do that is we run a Bittensor subnet. Essentially, we run an open source competition that continuously incentivizes a global community of AI developers to try and develop the most accurate, highest fidelity detection models possible. And so we serve images, video, we just rolled out audio, all modalities coming from wherever. But I think what you said, it is a really exciting time and also a really difficult problem because of the pace of innovation in which generative AI is moving. You're not only seeing Nano Banana, which I think really, to your point, caught a lot of people's attention, but a lot of these other, I think when Sora 2 came out, that was big news, but nothing has really captivated people's imaginations like Nano Banana. And I do think it was a big step function, but something interesting is that I think a lot of people have the observations that you've experienced saying, hey, like this feels different. This is new. This is like a huge fidelity and performance improvement. However, we did this survey maybe like 6 months ago, even before Sora 2, and it was really interesting to see, the survey showed that almost like 80% of people thought they could completely differentiate with the human eye what was AI generated and not, and their accuracy on average was a little less than 25%. We have this mobile app game where you can swipe left and right. So even when it was much less photorealistic, the technology was still not as mature as it is now. I think people's perception and the current situation of things is different. And then, as you said, right, we're probably both pretty digital literate. I actually look at these things all day, and I probably bat 50-60% on, the cutting edge thing. I mean, the other piece here is right, when you see it on social media, oftentimes you have social context clues that allow you to tell.
Yeah.
I think what's really difficult and what we try to stop is when it is, right, a lot of these scammers, malicious actors are using generative AI in their attack vector pipeline where it's, it's meant to fool you, right? Like if you see on X like prompt this giant JSON string, okay, like you know, a good looking girl is like, all right, this is AI, right? The context clues give it away, but I think there's been some pretty sophisticated scams that use it where it's had some pretty like large and significant financial impacts that yeah, we're really aiming to try to solve and pushing really hard to do so.
Ken, that is absolutely wild. Okay, let's get into BitMind itself. What do you guys do? You mentioned the mobile game. Again, you guys literally are the people who help folks like us know what is a deepfake, what is legit, what is not. Give us sort of the TLDR, the elevator pitch on what exactly you guys do.
Yeah, so the core of what we do is we do AI generated content detection, and we have a variety of different ways that we serve that to our customers. So first we have our applications. We have a browser extension that lets you, essentially overlays information while you're scrolling the web on your browser. We have a mobile app which you can share any information, any data from all the social media websites directly, or like if you take a picture, it'll obviously be real, or share from your camera roll if you're interested. And then what's also in that mobile app is a game where you can test your skills, as I mentioned before. And something that we just incorporated into it is actually generating content itself. And so something that we do, we rolled out there is like, hey, I think a lot of people wanna generate content in an ethical way, but also are really going for this very hyper realistic content. We've been able to fine tune some different models and utilize our detection services to actually help that. And it can be done in an ethical way because we watermark everything. We know, with C2PA, we know that it's generated and it can be flagged by our services. And then the other aspect of our business is essentially enterprise and API solutions. So we offer an API that you can integrate into any of your products via self-service, but we also offer, white labeled services and even custom models for some customers' needs. Because, right, this problem is really about cybersecurity and essentially protecting business communication and business finances. And so a lot of times there'll be very specific and unique problems that people need to solve. A lot of the interesting ones recently that have come up have been around receipts. So there was been a bunch of reporting that 14%,
Yes,
yeah,
I saw
nuts,
that.
nuts.
I saw that.
14% of Expensify or expense related software has been AI generated. And I actually talked to some people about it and they were like, yeah, I've heard people say that they know people who do it all the time. We'll omit any names there, but you just see how easy it is. It's so accessible to do that. And you can think of it as maybe petty crime, but at scale like that what that is like you are frauding your employer if you're doing that. And at scale, it's a lot of money. But right, if you want to solve that problem of deep fakes and just receipts, it's actually more of a narrow scope than something more generalized, right? You don't need video or audio detection. You actually only need image, and it's only for documents. And maybe you want something like, hey, highlight, was this over $100? Like, could you have some extra metadata on that problem of just if it's AI generated or not? That could be helpful context in securing your business. And so those are kind of, I would say, like the two core pillars of what we do, but all of it is surrounded essentially by detection and classification of multimodal data.
It's wild. I mean, this is the first time, and this is gonna be so weird to say, but so I'm a 95, I'm 30. I was in grade 7, I think, when like all of my friends got on Facebook. And that was, for me, that was the last time where I used something where I was like, holy crap, this is outer worldly. I was like, this is going to change the game. I don't know why I knew it would change the game in grade 7, grade 8, but it was just like, this is now, when you're in high school and junior high, being popular is a huge part of, that and showing off to your friends and connecting with people, blah, blah, blah. For me, that was like one of the first technological game changers I ever remembered. And then moving forward, none of the other social apps really moved the needle that crazy. Then 2022 comes along. ChatGPT, that was absolutely mind blowing, outerworldly, Mid-Journey, outerworldly. Present day, the deepfakes and the future of AI, this is something where like I have no clue where it's going to be. Normally it's like, okay, we get this, we can sort of see what's going to happen in the future. For me, Ken, I'm like, what's in 2030? Like, what are we going to be doing? Like, if AI is this good, this quick, what's going to happen in 2030? You know what I mean? Like and I think it was Satya, CEO of Google, I believe, and he was like, the one thing that keeps me up at night is deepfakes and knowing how to trust AI. Not like will they take over, just knowing what is legit and what is not legit. So for me, I'm going a little off the rails here, but this is something I find myself thinking about a lot. And normally I can at least do a lot of research to come to a conclusion and sort of help, depict my hypothesis. But here I genuinely have no clue. Like what the hell is going to happen in 5 years?
Something that I think we know for certain is that we will be completely wrong about any prediction
Yeah.
in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think that is really difficult, but I do imagine it will progress slowly but surely. And I think there's like the doomerism here is that like, hey, someone's AI will just be so powerful, it will be so much greater and, cause a bunch of issues in the world. And I do think it is very akin to cybersecurity, where it is this cat and mouse game, right? As generative AI is getting better and better, there's tons of research papers, you know, getting written, getting published about this problem. And this is advancing. Cybersecurity advances really, really fast. And it's one of those problems that almost the entire industry gets together on it to try to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And like share information and share techniques to do so. And so I really believe that, like, I think I've been seeing it all over X and socials. It's like, wow, like we're cooked. Nano Banana is here, right? Something that I was really excited about is like for us, we actually detect the Nano Banana Pro images and then derivative videos built on that relatively well. Because what we have to do, and one of the reasons we chose to build this on Bittensor was basically instead of us having to collect all this data, retrain a classification and detection model, and then deploy it into production, all we have to do is, right, collect the data, and then we just put it on the subnet, and then a global set of miners working around the clock, are creating this best and creating these models. And what that does is it just allows us to move extremely quickly and innovate and have a faster cycle on the model development. And so I think we're actually doing relatively well on this, even though to the human eye it's hyper realistic, it feels like a step function, etc. So yeah, I'm actually think that I believe in humans and just society and technology to solve this problem and be able to say, hey, we're going to be able to identify this, build tools that integrate into our communication flows, but it is just vastly critical. I really think the reason, like I was worried about the elections, not only just the US, but global elections. And what's interesting is that I feel like it didn't have as large of an effect on the US elections in 24 as I thought, but 26 is already coming up. The technology is so much better. And right, I think it's at a point where the Irish presidential election just happened, and 3 days before the actual winner of it, there was like a Facebook ad that was up for 12 hours that said she dropped out. And this is exactly what I feel like was this existential crisis why I needed to start BitMind. And Facebook took it down. But to your point about social media, how it's such a game changer, that I believe it got over like 6 million views. And they took it down and they released something that, hey, like this was like false information, but that already touched 6 million people. And elections are swayed by, much less votes than that. And it's that close to election. And so can this really affect, right? Basically, the concern here is that does it change the way we communicate and consume information that just deteriorates the way we determine trust and therefore communicate at large, right? It's like, I see it, the doomer case is that, hey, we give up, we say, hey, we can't differentiate between reality and what's AI generated. And then we just don't trust each other at all. If you say something I disagree with, I say it's AI generated. And if I say something messed up and I said it, but it's actually true, I'm just like, oh, that's AI, it's AI generated. And it goes like, you can just say, hey, like, it goes both ways. But yeah, like maybe to close out the loop, I think I can draw a comparison to social media here. It's like when Facebook first came out, I think like, yeah, like our generation, when timelines first came out, people were posting pretty heinous stuff on Facebook as like kids, like all thoughts, having like fights in middle school about like, the randomest stuff in the public domain. It's unclear. I think that's what the stage we are at with AI. It's like, hey, consumers, users, specifically young people, are learning how to use this thing right now, and
Yeah.
the behavior is going to get refined and changed over time. But I am optimistic that I think it's like, I think I'd give it even a higher percentage than Elon. Like 90 something percent chance it's going to be really amazing. We're going to be able to figure out these security and societal issues that it causes. And then there's some percent chance where like, we're fucked.
I love it. Well said. All right, Ken's on a roll here. We're going to take a quick break. Give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the show. When we get back, we are going to keep buzzing on BitMind, and we're going to go for a little buzz on Bittensor and everything crypto AI related. Huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News Pod. We love the team at Prime XBTs. They offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet. You can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50, that's CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that's CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. We touched on Bittensor a bit. I'm a big Bittensor fan. I don't think it's a good thing that the most powerful AI companies in the world, the half a dozen of them that we all know and love and hate, have so much power and sway over the future of AI. And I feel like Bittensor is sort of that underdog that is, in the spirit of crypto, decentralized and has thousands or tens of thousands of folks across the world all working together in one ecosystem to make good shit happen. So I love that. And we'll get into that later on. But first, we'll just start with like why crypto is the perfect target for AI. It is, calling someone and getting access to their bank details, those kind of scams, they still happen every day. It's terrible. But the crypto scams are just so easy, so low-hanging fruits. What scares you about the crypto scams? And have you seen any really good AI deepfakes that target the crypto scams, just front and center? They're all over the place. Any particular that really spook you out?
Yeah, a ton. Even in the Bittensor community, right? I think there's been a bunch of targeted attacks, like using some sort of generative AI. The most popular one that we've seen in crypto goes something like this. They'll hack someone's Telegram account. They'll compromise a Telegram account or some sort of communication channel, set up the call with, known parties, and then do those like face, like modify their face. So it looks like the person, that compromised account's person on the Zoom call. They'll pretend they can't hear you and say, click on a link. I think why I'm apprehensive of using Zoom in general, like I'm always super spooked about Zoom. I usually do mobile because it's a downloadable, it's a native app. That is by far the most common one, but I think you've also seen some really sophisticated, like there's been some really sophisticated, like long-term ones where like they slow roll it. They'll compromise an account that the person won't know about it, or like set up something where like they think they're talking to the person, and it'll be months where they're communicating with you over Telegram, either fake audio, fake voice, and then eventually like pull the trigger. And these things can be like, 6 to 12 months. But I think that piece of, I think it's kind of akin to a lot of the problems and the attack vectors, is that just how simple and accessible it is to create these deepfakes, right? I need a single picture of Elon Musk and I can overlay that on this video, on my Zoom call. And, you could think I'm Elon or anyone else. And I just think, right, everyone is aware of business email compromise scams, getting an email from the prince of, I don't know, some random African country and saying, hey, like, I need Walmart gift cards, right? Everyone's aware of that one. I think the education is also just really lacking behind. But I think some of those, I think those two examples I gave in particular have been surprising just because of the level of dedication that these hackers and scammers have to like put in that work for like 6 months, just how sophisticated that is. And then second, just, hey, wow, I was like, they compromise an account and have one picture of you and then they can copy you. And like that just seems scary.
For one of the things that scares me the most is not even for us, and knock on wood here, but because I get, a dozen of these emails every single day, Ken, but the older folks, the 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds who are just sort of chilling, working in large companies, retiring in, 5 years, 10 years, just sort of going through the motions every day. The emails that go to their inbox, like you literally cannot tell anymore. Like they are, I get some where I'll book, I actually have a tab where I'm like, great fit. I forget the name of it, but it's just, fakes. If you send a good banger scam email, I will put it in there just for reference. So it's like, so I know the next time too. My mom's friend, I'm actually helping her right now. God bless her. Amazing woman. She got scammed by Crackit. The email was like Kraken, not Kraken, Kraken. And it 10 out of 10 somehow had the blue check mark as well. It was a legit 10 out of 10 fake email. If you're not in the weeds like us, how do you know this stuff? You don't. So for me, it's super spooky. And I mean, it's only going to get worse. To go back to your point, you and I are waking up every day and we're working for a mission. And, I'm trying to make money for my team. You're trying to make money for your team. Imagine waking up every day for 6 months and being like, I'm about to fuck this person. Like, could you imagine how much of a sick puppy you have to be to like have the long-term vision and fortitude to know you're doing something terrible? I don't know how you do that. I genuinely, outerworldly to me. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But again, these guys they're so freaking good about it, and it's absolutely wild. As someone who's actually giving solutions to this, how do we fix this? Is this just more training? Is this if you work at it? And I know the Fortune 500 companies, all the large orgs, they're all doing the AI combative training, the phishing emails, the spoofs, the whole 9 yards. But how can we as an industry help the folks who aren't switched on, aren't as deep in the weeds, to better combat deepfakes and AI-based phishing and all the AI nonsense? Is there a solution?
There is a solution. As you said, the start of anything is really, unfortunately, the answer to a lot of things in this world are education, right? Like you need to be aware of the problem. A lack of awareness, like you're cooked no matter what. So like that is definitely a starting point. I think number two is really, it's why I believe in the mission of BitMind. It's to integrate tools into your workflow that make it so that it's not, right? It doesn't completely disrupt everything that you're doing. An example here that I give is like when the Israel-Iran conflict came out, right? I think what a lot of people were doing, there was so much news about it, and a lot of it was AI generated or just like false. It was about like Syria in 28, like some of the images and videos and stuff. And like, there was just crazy stuff that was real too. But like your process would be like, go through the comments, see what other people are saying, see what Grok is saying. And I think there's a lot of flows like that just like kind of completely destroy whatever experience that you're trying to achieve, whether it be on social media or research throughout the internet, etc. Like it just deteriorates the entire process and you get less information. And so I think tools like BitMind is like, hey, where it becomes passive and proactive for you, right? You can set up like, right, eventually being able to set up like preferences, hey, just like completely wipe anything from my timeline that is AI generated. Oh, okay, I just want this flagged. Actually, I don't care if I'm looking at bunnies on a trampoline. Just like give it all to me. I want to see all the AI slop out there. But I do think like, right, that piece is key. The user experience and tooling of just like integrating it directly into your pipeline. But awareness is the first thing. I think what's great about Nano Banana is that, right, I think it has raised a lot of an awareness to this stuff. But I think, right, there's probably still like an event that needs to occur, just like all cybersecurity. Like I don't think people were worried about business email compromise when email was first coming out and like getting adopted by business. And so, right, there does, I think, unfortunately, just the nature of it need to be some learning lessons.
Unfortunate events.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Bittensor here. Again, like I said, big fan of Bittensor. Any tidbits about the community? I don't want to get into price action or anything like that. Having whole 9 yards. What's your present day thoughts on Bittensor?
Yeah, Bittensor is an amazing blockchain and amazing community. I think when I was first doing research and an assessment on it, the community aspect and just almost the passion that the community has was really impressive. I mean, I just think it's one of the most unique projects in crypto. It's really, it's so different than any traditional blockchain, but it's really amazing. Like what I feel like it does is it's almost like neo-capitalism. Like, right, can you algorithmically distribute value creation? And it's really hard. We're consistently working on our incentive mechanism to distribute capital for, you know, this global community of AI developers that are creating our deepfake models. But I think my favorite thing about it is really just the ability for it to actually create ecosystem businesses. I think your best businesses currently today are these ecosystem businesses. Like, right, you can think Facebook, right? Or Meta, they drive traffic from, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
Then okay, you put on the glasses, the Meta glasses, and then okay, you get ads for that, right? So they're able to use this ecosystem and all of these, the kind of the Mag 7, like they're all like this, right? And what's really interesting about BitTensor is that I think it has the ability to create an ecosystem like this where all these subnets are utilizing each other. So, for example, like, right, the cheapest storage that we can possibly get, we have, hundreds of terabytes of data that we're using to train on that, like, right, we're trying to label, correct, and continuously create the best models. And the cheapest version is of data storage is a subnet on Bittensor called Hippias. And for training, same with compute. It's like the cheapest and high quality compute, like H200s and kind of large machines that is secure, that we trust, are also on Bittensor. And so I think if you're building on Bittensor, what's really interesting is like, hey, not only are we essentially subsidizing the development of the core thing that we're building, which is deepfake detection, but we also get to utilize, right, really high quality resources that other folks are building in this ecosystem. And then that's revenue for them. It makes our services better, our profit margins higher. And I think that is kind of the most exciting aspect about Bittensor right now. If this flywheel can work, then I think it creates one, a really powerful moat, because those ecosystems are just super hard to create. They take years and a lot of time and money to create, where large moat and then a lot of innovation and velocity to continuously improve.
Yeah, Bittensor's awesome. Look, dude, this was a great epi. Really appreciate you coming on. Any news? Again, your epi's gonna air in a couple of weeks here, but any news popping off over the next little bit for BitMinds? Any nuggets to give us before we let you go today?
Let's see. We are really excited to roll out this RLHF game where you're actually gonna label unknown data and like earn points, and we'll try to incorporate some reward system into there. So that's really exciting. The halvening is coming up, I believe now. It's a little unclear exactly when, but I believe but somewhere between 7 and 9 days is when it will occur.
Yeah.
And it's exciting stuff. I think there's a lot of people that they're uncertain about it. They don't know what's going to happen. I think it really can only be a positive thing, right? I think if you see from any experience of what happens when there's supply constrained in crypto like Bitcoin, I think you're looking at, I think, something positive and more efficient usage of resources. So definitely a huge event happening, yeah, sometime early mid-December, but I think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. And I think there's a lot of cool teams and subnets working on just amazing things that will continue to push the state of the art.
I love that, man. Before you go, where can we find you personally and BitMind online and on socials?
Yes, if you want to go to BitMind, go to bitmind.ai. That has all of our information. You'll be able to look at our browser extension, mobile app, our API, etc. And then we are BitMind at BitMind on X, and my personal X is Ken John Miyachi. It's kind of long. Maybe it'll be in some description if you want to find me personally on X.
Folks, what a banger with Ken Miyachi, co-founder of BitMind. Huge shout out to Ken for coming on. Everything AI related, crypto scams, deep fakes, you name it. And of course, deep dive on Bittensor. Again, huge shout out to Ken and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking to the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And to the listeners, you guys are the best. Keep on doing your thing. Keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao.